Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another stream. Hope you guys are doing great. I'm gonna keep this one short because I'm not feeling too well, so I'll just do a quick rundown. Try to keep this probably 30 minutes so I can go and sleep. Hey. Let's start with ES. ES was nice yesterday. I mean, well, as nice as could be. I mean, it did pretty much just did nothing in terms of consolidation, stayed within sort of last week Friday range where it went up, came back down and re-added to the position short that they already had here. So it's a nice sort of addition there. So that's just sort of bullish sign, I guess you could say. Even though, yeah, just nothing more to say and nothing more to add other than, yeah, it's a bullish sign, which has re-added sort of heavy sort of short volume where we already had one. Create that double top, just retested that lower area here, lower third, and just pushing up. Potentially looking for some upside. I want to see some retracements, I guess. We'll see if we can come back down, test sort of the higher of the range. I think we're pretty much done with it, I guess, right now. But I wouldn't be sort of too surprised if we can sort of break this high. We talked about yesterday about numbers we're expecting from ES if we were to break that high. So I mean, for shorts, we're sort of looking around here to try to pull it down. For longs, we're sort of looking for retests. Maybe if we can sort of get it back at sort of 3978, get a retest internally, and then sort of pop it up here into sort of these higher numbers. So definitely could see something. Okay. Especially considering was if we sort of trade here, pull it back down, could be nice and it could give you something. I don't think it holds too well if it moves slowly. I mean too fast down. Could get a nice little spike lower. Take these out in terms of stops, then pull itself up. Just getting that slow burn here is not really sort of too good in terms of longing. Just sort of err on the side of caution. I mean, we did get that sort of volume centric area here, so again, we're looking for us to be ideally closing above this level here. Just sort of say, yeah, I like this area. We want to be above this area, and we want to stay healthy. Let's start with sort of Bitcoin now, and sort of go through the motions with it. So Bitcoin was trying to look for 1600 overnight. It looks like we ended up revisiting 1700 first. It just overextended in terms of the Asia area here. Sort of go to that 15 minutes. You can see sort of Asia comes in, just goes high, takes itself out here, and now we sort of get that London trading a bit lower. So I mean, well, that's Asia was here. London trades a bit higher. It's just trading here now, where we have that New York pulling down. What do I think of Solana? I'll see. I haven't looked at it. That's my thoughts right now. So I mean, with sort of us trading in this sort of higher sort of territory, we're defending this area here, looking for this sort of fell. It will sort of fell in sort of 16600 or even 500 even. We'll see that, and maybe that could be our bullish sign here, because remember Monday's range is already set. Tuesday we'll sort of trade within that. We'll do other coins. Just let me finish up on Bitcoin. So this is sort of your larger sort of area here that you look at in terms of bullish or bearishness, understanding sort of premiums for ranges. We zoom out, this sort of a larger sort of consolidation range. This is our weekly current weekly range here from Monday. Tuesday will give us the entire week, but Tuesday will either trade here in terms of stop hunts and then pull itself down, or pull itself down and just trade internally. And we'll trade, if we trade internally here, Wednesday comes stop hunt Wednesday. If we can get that sort of weekly here, then that could be sort of your major sort of bullishness there. But depending on how we sort of do that, if we sort of come up here, start expanding the range higher, Wednesday comes in, starts pulling itself down, Thursday, and so on and so forth. That's neither here or there, because we'll see what happens and what we end up getting from Tuesday ultimately. But generally it's not sort of too bad, just because in the position where ES is at and how ES has been trading, the AS order flow, it's okay. We can expect some uprising, as considering still that Bitcoin is now sort of moving together with it. I mean, we did get the entirety of yesterday where we did move together. It was just and then you could just see the last couple of days it's repricing. So moving on, we'll sort of have to look at altcoins now. Yeah, we'll look at altcoins. Actually, I still need to look at the books. So only trouble now is there we go. There's our pop. There's our pop high. We were expecting something like that, but again, it's just adding to that sort of longs. Here we'll see. We want to see if we can sort of subside. So we just took out those stops here. We look at this large sort of pop. We're still looking for an erring on the side of a retracement downwards, just purely based on the fact that we've got a heavy sort of offset of these longs here, and it's just very overextended, this current sort of play. So we want to see that potentially collapse on itself. Well, 9 times out of 10 it's mostly what we expect. Just pushing itself very much higher. It's higher very much at sort of the points here. I think it's doing that with the help of ES. Like I said, it's just following ES, because whatever this one's doing, the other one will do. So we want to look at sort of figures for ES, and those figures will determine whether we want to be taking this range or not. Very fast moving. Looks like it couldn't keep up. Looks like they decided, whoa, they're not taking any prisoners, just they're gonna go with it. So, I mean, it happens. Guess the short volume was enough to say, you know what, these longs, we don't really care about them. So we're just gonna take these here, or they had a lot of sort of shorts. Short volume here. The only trouble is I can't see it because I think I shut off my I shut off my PC here, so this data is unknown to me. It's just the only. I don't know why they don't have cloud for it. Like, it's just so jarring. It's like the only sort of downside. If I could get like historic data, even though I don't have it in terms of loading it up, it would allow for a lot better sort of fine tuning. But again, just taking out that entire short area here. Was that unknown? I guess it was more shorts than longs. Like, just taking those out. Looks like they're just going for broke here. That's sort of a scary position to be in. It's not really something you want to long into. Just purely based on the fact that they're doing it very early on in this trade session. So you're looking for a point, probably subside maybe around 8, not even 8:30, or probably around a bit later. Probably got a major sort of news release. Let's see. Yeah, got major sort of news release. So 9 o'clock, we've got another speaker. So maybe we sort of push up. Looks like they just had just a major sort of release of news. So we can treat this as sort of false sort of move here. So maybe we get that sort of true move in a half hour. and then we get that sort of push down. So again, nothing sort of overtly wrong with anything that we've been looking at so far. It's just sort of got new information that is just sort of news days, and news days end up doing this. So again, that's why it's sort of important to look at news. So sometimes you can get blindsided, and then just like, oh, you don't see it. It's but there, that's the push we needed. Still looking for that to back under. So just be careful. Someone asked for Solana. Solana sort of still within sort of levels in terms of how we looked at from prior. I mean, not not the greatest. I mean, it's fell considerably. If we sort of look at that instead of going into sort of higher time frames, so we get less of these lines. There we go. Fell considerably considering that we had it like a lot from here to here in terms of a swing. As you can see, just fell on that daily level and fell to hold that weekly level here, and that's sort of very important for it. It's continued down all the way to 13. It's sort of found 13 as its support. It's not surprising it does, but now sort of looking at 15 as resistance. It's sort of very much our range we're looking at. Ideally want to see where volume is in this. There we go, already getting that wick under. Just watch out for extensions, just because they could extend it for a couple more minutes in terms of going up high. Amazon bearish news. What's up with Amazon? Oh yeah, they laid off a bunch of workers right before there you go. There's that. There you go. 10,000 layoffs in Amazon. Like, that's insane considering that Black Friday is just around the corner, and usually that's the most sort of profitable day for any sort of retail shop. So laying off that much just shows that there's sort of projected demand is not really there for it. So they're really not sort of too hopeful on it. So if that's not a recession indicator, I don't know what is. Because again, people not spending is just will exacerbate the whole sort of argument of just like, oh yeah, we're not in a recession. No, we are. Don't spend money. No, we need to save money. Everything's expensive. No one's spending. What do we do? Decrease interest rates. Get people spending again, and so on and so on. I mean, it's just a whole vicious cycle. But going back to Solano, enough of this sort of digression. As you can see here, creating a nice little double top. If it pulls under, could see it come back to a bit lower, a bit higher than 13. Probably see it see 13.75 if anything. That's sort of first level you'll look for. I mean, slightly higher at 14.39 is not too bad, as you can see in terms of where volume is, but generally you're looking at this 15 to 13 range as an area of great interest. And breaking above 15 will sort of put it above into the new range. So a bit higher range, we'll probably see it in 17 areas. But terms for daily, you're looking at sort of ideally here, and again that 14 number sort of as a midpoint. It's just slightly higher than 14, I would say. There we go, just slightly higher, 14.34. So on to XRP. Let's go into XRP. Haven't looked at this in a very long time, but looks like the markers are still up, and looks like they're still holding true. That's one of the reasons why I love these numbers. Let's start with daily. Let's see if we can add in any more new things. DYDX? Sure. Yeah. Wow. So a very long time ago since I looked at it, I guess, on this. There you go. New addition here. You've caught it perfectly if you had it in terms of looking at it. why it's so nice to sort of remind me every now and again to look at your coins. So you guys have these numbers. There we go. Now you guys have these numbers. Mark these out. This is your support. This is your resistance, and so on and so forth. These are sort of key indications and key levels you want to look for. So already sort of coming down. But again, that's what we sort of predicted. Just sort of an extension play, and just sort of very much based off of this sort of news release here, and just clearing out that short inventory that they already had prior. 4 hours looks decent. As you can see, that previous area here, we had the high volume. We created that double top here. Pretty thin on this sort of top side. That's not too bad if you're sort of bullish on it, and you're sort of trying to hold true. Sort of can say that maybe we can get in a further sort of grab and reach at that sort of 4 level. Definitely wouldn't recommend buying. I mean, it's just generally not my style. I have enough patience to say, even if I expected to do this, just wait for a retest around sort of the 3.6, 3.8 level, or even just lower. I rather buy on a downswing than on a breakout, just because I'm just better than that. I know that for a fact. I have enough patience to wait for it, and I have enough pride to miss it. But generally just coming back to this sort of high volume node here, creating a nice little double top. If you can get it sort of trading between sort of 3.6, 3.8, 3.5, 16 around there, could be nice. Could sort of then try push up to the 0.40252 or whatever, this number here, and then we'll see what it does from there on out. Pretty nice, pretty easy chart. Like it still kept true. Just mark all the numbers that you see on my chart on your chart, and you should be fine in terms of identifying support and resistance. I don't know if I want Binance or futures for this. Yeah, I'll just Binance futures. Spot of futures. Oh, there's so much fucking. Can't swear. I held myself from swearing. But I'm in so much pain. You guys don't understand how much pain I'm in right now. It's not even my lower back. It's just my knees, my lower. It's everything. So I just feel so old. Looks like I did ideally want that spot position. Let's see. It's just an extra month. Not too bad. Okay, yeah, not too bad if I just look at futures. And there we go. Yeah, not too bad. Weekly. I'm surprised I haven't marked anything on this. I don't know. Color me surprised. There's a weekly major resistance. There we go. We've already sort of came and went on that. So now let's sort of look at relevant ones closer to the area. So there's your breakout currently. This one is sort of that resistance there, and there's sort of the bottom support there. We go, just skip over that one because I mean it's relevant, but less so relevant. You can skip over these internal ones, just for the sake of cleaning up a bit. I mean, you can always add these in if you really wanted to. I mean, this is not too bad at the level, but it just starts cluttering up your chart, and having less is always more at some point in time. High sort of reaching sort of target 4. Don't we reach that too soon? So we'll look at sort of 4 hours, see if we have any sort of shorter term targets reaching up to that higher sort of 4 target that we look at. There we go. I mean, this sort of is already bearish. I mean, it doesn't no ifs, ands, or buts. Just getting a nice little double top with both of them just increasingly high on sort of volume. Maybe look for it to come back down to 2.3. See if that trades down. Very sort of anorexic, and other than that, I mean, other than sort of trading here and trying to bounce on this level, I don't think it's sort of it's too bad. If like this is sort of, if you see a potential bounce at this level, it's not too bad to grab this here. But there's also the opportunity for it to fall lower around here. So I think that's sort of where you sort of target main, and you sort of hold out for that hope here. And I think that's more feasible, having that reach all the way down to 2. So just be careful, I guess. Yeah, sort of. It's got a nice little 4-hour sort of pin here. So I'll just grab that and just hold that there. There we go. Nice little traps of that volume just up outside that 4-hour sort of level. Always nice to sort of see. There we go. Again, targets, intermediate targets. There you go. That 3.7 comes in between us and that sort of 4. So a lot of sort of empty void that to build out sort of price targets. But generally looking for it to come down and retest these areas here before doing anything major. Going back into Bitcoin, looks like we're already getting that upswing here. They're just trying to take that sort of out. Looks like we're already sort of building up some sell volume here on ES. And that sort of large volume dot that we looked at here. Again, just increasingly just painting a picture of bearishness. We came up to that point here. I mean, we let up on that, just tried to fish, see if we can get some fishes. So I don't think we have too much of a possibility. I mean, there is always the possibility of us going up and extending this a bit higher, but the chances are increasingly slim. I would say currently, looking at sort of how we're sort of trading, unless we sort of bounce around here and try push up. Not really sort of too confident in that. So I'm more confident in the drop and that fade from that top. Look at spot, see if spot says anything different for us. Let's see. Zoomed out, I think a bit too much. Back in. I mean, it's sort of a mixed bag. Got some buys here. I mean, that's ideally what we want. Got that offset of that sells. Sort of just like nice little profit taking from people, but it looks really sort of empty nowadays. I mean, it's just really bad. It's just like he's got these major levels, not really too much volume outside of that. Spot is just, I guess, not where people want to be right now. They're just too hurt. I mean, but it's relative. But again, you got those breakout buyers here, and then someone decided to sell here, so someone smarter sold here. We're getting that selling here, but it's not really what we want. We want to sort of see some buying if we want to see some bearishness take place. Come on, good morning. 9k end of day. Yeah, probably not 9k, but like we want to see it come down ideally. We'll see if it sort of takes its time or sort of just fades it from here. But if it sort of takes its time, I mean, it sort of fades it here. Probably looking for something to double top it essentially. Peak bear market equals a night kicking in this early afternoon. North having Burger King and listening to rain. You know what? I haven't had Burger King in ages. I should. Oh, God damn! I want Burger King. Damn it, Greg. Make me want Burger King. Hamburger. Just learn when you trade on DYDX, you get DYDX tokens, basically cover your trade fee if you sell them. That just creates a lot of sell pressure. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's a nice sort of little exchange they have. It's decentralized. You want to keep yourself off the sort of the government controlled. Okay, I'm joking. No. If you want to keep yourself like off exchange, it's not too bad having these exchanges. But I mean, it's up to you. I've got some 4-hour levels. So let's sort of mark these out now. There you go. There we go. Just can't think straight, man. I'm just in so much pain. Yeah, heavy sort of volume offset. I mean, that sort of high comes in place. I mean, I ideally want to look at sort of the closes on the hours. They are pretty sort of telling that, especially if we can close around here, volume wants to come down. These wicks are nice. I mean, these wicks comprise pretty much of trap sort of longs. I want to see that continue. But again, just waiting on the sort of the dust to settle, because this is not trustworthy in terms of which direction it's gonna go. Either we mellow it out, then drop, or we just sort of taper, double top, come back up, or we go extension high, go for that play, then drop it. Considering we don't have too much in terms of pivot wise, other than 9 o'clock, don't have anything sort of midday. Have sort of end of day sort of crude oil, and then tomorrow seems a lot better in terms of being packed. So I think we just set up to I'm not sure 17. What does the book say? I just jumped. Oh, cool. Yeah. If you're sort of taking profits, here's where you want to sort of be out at. So as you can see, I mean, this is nice. This is always sort of very nice to be short into. Probably want to try take it some off at that VWAP here. VWAP traders are very aggressive on the way they trade, as you can see here. They sort of came to it, just played with it, then pulled across, just very much just violated a lot of traders. Maybe just front run it a bit higher, I guess. Would be my hedge. But you wouldn't be too wrong in terms of trading that sort of VWAP. Next sort of level is probably much lower at 16,650. So if you see it not hold here or be too strong, I would hold off and just see that. And you can see that, look how fleeting that is. They're just removing that to add it here because they're expecting that first drop, and they're probably expecting that second and probably getting that prepared for lower. So definitely consider holding off having any hard take profits and just look at sort of reactionary at sort of this area. So just set alerts and just say, okay, at this level, does it look weak enough for me to take for me to be greedy? If it doesn't look weak, just take it off the table. That would be my bet. You're ideally looking and holding for like potentially 16,500 and even lower, but you can see this sort of is trying to fade it. Remember, we ran the trouble of it being strong here. So that's again, so that's why you take partials and it's like, okay, you know what, let's take 25% off the table here, push stops up to 1700 or 16,500 or wherever the next sort of higher crescent is. And then if I get stopped out, I can re-enter and I have some profits off the table and so on and so forth. Yeah, I think I haven't checked out the exchange. It probably is, considering, I mean, considering the spreads and stuff. It probably, like, anyone big enough, like anyone my size, could probably create wicks on that exchange. That's because spread. But no, probably everything today is probably culminating in a setup for tomorrow. So we want to pay special attention to how sort of volume is trading. Considering we're sort of heavy short already, we want to see some upsides, I guess. Just to create some get rid of shorts of ES, and that's sort of the main reason. So if we sort of mellow this out, retest that sort of VWAP area at 1650, even slightly higher, we'll see. Come to that daily open as well. Come around this sort of area against that weekly VWAP, the daily VWAP. It's just sort of around this sort of level. Sort of see that Monday high as well. So these are your sort of, if we're sort of being very aggressive on a Tuesday, we'll sort of hit these. Probably hit this out of a range here. Then if we hit this out of range, we're sort of looking to do this. Maybe have some level of bullishness if we look that strong. But ideally, you want to see some level of longs. Take out the range here, hang around for a bit. Wednesday comes in spikes, then we drop further. That's sort of a lot more ideal in terms of setting it up. Go through ETH? Yeah, sure. I realize how much love I mean, not how much I don't show any love to ETH. I don't even know where it is. Current parts. There we go. It's ETH. Yes, there we go. I mean, it's a lot better in terms of looking at, as you can see, that just sort of flat lines at that resistance here. Let's go a bit out a bit and just look at this for a minute. So we got that daily market here. We've got it also on that 4 hour here, but sort of daily takes precedent. We got sort of retail trying to trade. There we go here, trying to trade the breakout of this. So maybe we get that sort of extension here, just to sort of get that sort of extra sort of volume from those breakout traders. But generally, sort of that flat line on the hour showing that, okay, this is sort of a heavy sort of breakout territory. So there's always going to be volume here. In terms of willing participants, just speculators coming in. So that's something that you want to see if it sort of stays within sort of this sort of territory is as a short, to maybe sort of come down and retest lower. If you're looking at sort of resistance, I mean, look, you can add these back in and just say, okay, there we go. Oh no, don't do that. There we go. Add this back in, as you can see. That sort of reason to say, okay, maybe around here we sort of call it. Oh, that's 4 hours. But daily, you got that volume sort of building up very weirdly here. I mean, it's split in terms of where it's displayed, so you can see that sort of where your consolidation lies between this area here. So you treat this as you would a flag. You got that spike high outside, but if you see breakouts here, sort of collection of volume here, we're pulling further down. If we sort of come back down to here, collect volume around here in terms of short volume, you could definitely see this pull back up into it. In terms of targets for bullishness, if we see that bullish side, probably looking for much higher here. For bearishness, you're probably looking for 1022, and like you can see the next drops a lot further than anything else, at sort of 596. So just essentially just halves it. In terms of sort of having a major sort of support. I mean, you probably have a daily level that, no, you don't. You have nothing. Nothing. And no, I mean you do have something in the way of 750 around this level, but generally just very much an empty sort of void other than the sort of center, I guess. If you sort of drop below that 1022, I mean we've already got sort of price action and volume there, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we sort of stay within that area. Sort of short term wise, let's sort of look at daily. There we go. Look at daily and monthly sort of volume projections. We sort of did this somewhere. I don't remember. I think on the Discord. Yes, on the Discord. You can see previous months sort of heavy longs in this area here, sort of culminated on the last sort of session here. It's ended up just falling under. Just got that sort of high volume traps alongside the previous couple of months. I mean, that came essentially at the quarter. Very much a maximum level where we have a bunch of sort of volume entered in, and mostly short volume. Good to see us recollecting at that area. It just shows some level of strength. But just coming to that sort of point of control and the opposite side where we do have some longs, and I don't think these guys are fully out of the market. As you can see, they probably entered in as a swing trade, and they probably sort of missed the boat on that and decided, you know what, it's better to eat the sort of loss and then miss out on the potential of it to reclaim some levels. So maybe consider it, just give us some sort of scares and some shakes, but generally on the daily this sort of is decently bullish. Maybe expect 1490 at some point. Just have to be hopeful. How would I do? There we go. We'll do the same for Bitcoin in terms of monthly. Zoom out, you can see very much different from Ethereum. Ethereum's very much a lot healthier in terms of where it's trading at, and it's been decently healthy. I mean, it was healthy at this point as well. You can see it just trades to a maximum sort of pivot point here, where we've had this sort of collection of trades just sort of builds up until it sort of just falls on flat on its face. So it's nice to see that. So in terms of resistance, we can just say like major sort of resistance is 19.15. I think we already talked about this level. At least I remember this level. But generally sort of building that volume here, as you can see, we've already got this month's sort of highest sort of volume node here. So pulling up. Hey. I mean, we already see this sort of it's not really diverging, but it's sort of going together. We'll see if it sort of consolidates, it sort of spells a bit of bad news. But if it sort of tries pushing out in a couple of days, I mean, we could definitely try catch it on a lip and then retest somewhere. But it's just all depending on how sort of tomorrow trades, or today and tomorrow trades for the weekly. Remember, we're looking for down. We're looking for down then up, not up then down. Because if we got up today, we're down tomorrow. If we go down today, we're up tomorrow. Majority of the time, just because the way the news is shaking. And we want early morning Wednesday to also be the inverse of the direction we ideally want it. So if you're praying for some more upwards movement, you want it to sort of mellow itself down, collect shorts, then we can sort of springboard. If you want sort of downwards movement, you want us to sort of slowly climb and then sort of collapse on itself. So I mean, you could expect us to go sort of whipsaw, take the range low, then pull up, come back down, then pull up, or in terms of having a double bottom and so on and so forth. You could get a little wild, hey. But other than that, like I said, I want to keep today very short, just because I am generally in a lot of pain. So it's just like starting to become increasingly just more uncomfortable. Just, I mean, it's, yeah. What am I saying? Yeah, I mean, I've covered majority of what I wanted to cover anyway. We know our targeted areas. If we're sort of uh, looking at that from a point of view from ETH, from Bitcoin, we know where we want to target. We know generally we're not too sort of bullish, but ES is the kind of bullish. I mean, as long as it cleared out all the sort of shorts, it's bearish enough where we can say point it down, and then sort of spiked it high, and sort of it was a missed sort of trade because you could have easy caught this. If I just, again, it's just looking at sort of what we had on the news docket. Sometimes I forget, but that sort of you could have catch that before the sort of news release, hit it on that, pulled it back down again. We're looking for the same sort of reaction. We're looking for downwards to say upwards. We're looking for up to say down for the next day. And we're just building up sort of expectations for tomorrow, and that's sort of ideally where you should be at for this stage. I mean, yesterday traded decently enough where you got a stop on here, got a small climb, got a major sort of stop on, reached that sort of secondary level. Didn't reach that tertiary level that we're looking at down here. I mean, but it is what it is. And then it just pulled up across, and it traded all the way to that sort of extension. Traded very high off that news. You could see it pull down. Now it's just if this pull down leads into a further sort of extension higher, that's where you're pulling out. Got down only alert on ETH at now I pray. Now you pray indeed. Hopefully you get your down only. I mean, it shouldn't be too bad for yes. I mean, you've got that sort of larger sort of volume in that 4 hour showing that off here. But now it's just looking at that. Does that lead into a retest, or does that lead into some further sort of push down? Again, these short volumes are just getting increasingly larger. This is just a minor sort of addition to the previous one. So we'll see if we can retest that area, add more short, then just climb onto that tomorrow. But it's just been consolidating. Actually, yeah, we've been consolidating into sort of what appears to be sort of flags, and just trading sort of breakouts off that flag. Before I go, just mention that, and we've already traded that high. So I mean, retests are possible. I wouldn't hold past it, but also that sort of could just buck under and just go straight for the sort of bearishness here. So again, it's all about how weak we look at this sort of level here at the retest. If we look weak enough to sort of warrant you guys keeping your positions on, keep it on. It's not greedy. You can just push stops up, and then just look for these lower levels first this, and then you obviously have some re-additions and ability to re-add. That's why taking partial profits is probably always the best plan, because you can always re-add without having to move your position too far gone to the actual sort of price, so you always have a nice buffer. But I mean, yeah, other than that, like I said, they keeping it very short, very much shorter than usual, so I can go rest. If you came in late or want to actually go down the thoughts bubble that I went through, just catch the VOD on YouTube. Other than that, hope you guys have a lovely day. Hope you guys trade safe. It's very important, and just keeping what we said today in mind when you're trading should be fine. Other than that, have a lovely day, and I will catch you, mother lovers, tomorrow. Peace.